You may think to yourself that exploration happened 30 years ago, too late ago. I personally, I was always been someone who's fascinated by stories. I've always loved stories. And so I was doing all of these comic books and I would write them, do them, draw them, color them, finish. Look within yourself from childhood. Meditate if you have to. If you can't remember what it is that you absolutely loved back then there's going to be a whole lot of thinking time for you to do. What's up everyone, Carl here, and this is episode number 7 of Business Talks with Carl. Today, we're going to talk about building your team, and we're still in the founder series, video essay, whatever you want to call it, and let's just get right into it, right? So I'm going to give you a little bit of context. Ray Kroc becomes a partner of the McDonald's Corporation. Dick McDonald was a little bit hesitant and he didn't want anything about it, but he pursued it because that was their dream, to be able to be known. Because McDonald's back then was a good restaurant in their small niche, but they were unknown. Nobody in across America knows about them. And so that's why when Ray Kroc came in, someone who's salesman, someone who thinks big, someone who thinks that, okay, you're good, but you can franchise. And it's actually said in the film that here's what I can see: franchise, 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 from sea to shining sea.
Here's
McDonald's.
what I found on the web.
NANI?! お前はもう死んでいる。
Well, the problem with that, when they first started out, Ray Kroc, as a salesman, he had the guts, he had the grit, he had the hard work, he had the perseverance. The problem with that is that being a salesman, he didn't know who he wants to hire or who he wants to be investors in the McDonald's Corporation, because they made it into a franchise. Let's remember, Ray Kroc wanted McDonald's to become a franchise, and thank God that it became a franchise, because without it, we wouldn't know McDonald's, right? So, absolutely amazing. Ray Kroc, all of the tools in his disposal, used it. All of the friends that they had in the country club used it. But the problem with that is that they're not actually the people that he's looking for, and he learned that the hard way. So he was creating this team, but he wasn't making or creating the dream team, right? He had a team, he had players, he had key players, but they weren't playing, right? Or at least they weren't playing by his books, by his rules, by his systems. And eventually, from the golf course that he get to sell or sold the idea of McDonald's, all of these business partners, all of these investors that franchise, the franchisees, they absolutely made McDonald's a mess. They didn't abide on the rules. Some people, I think, some of the stores were selling barbecues. Was it barbecues or was it tacos? I don't remember. Watch the film, okay? So there's no system, right? It's disorganized. Nobody believed in him. Although he is the leader of the pack, so to speak, he's not considered as a leader. Nobody thought about him as a leader, and they completely trashed everything about McDonald's, his name, its legacy. And to Ray Kroc, this isn't just dollar bills. When he looked at McDonald's, it's not just a dollar sign to him. McDonald's is something that is him also. Although it's not his name, right? It's Dick McDonald's, Mac McDonald's. He looked at this company, at this franchise, in this time of his life as his baby. He really cared, right? He really cared about it. And actually shows in the film on how livid Ray Kroc is when he get to see his baby being trashed, being something that it isn't supposed to be. And Ray Kroc really cared, okay? So he learned from that mistake. Okay, I'm not gonna get these billionaires, these easy investors, these easy franchisees, although that's easy money for him. He didn't want that. What he instead create, although it's a little bit harder, right? He would go into communities, talk to a lot of wives, husband and wives, and that's the secret formula, right? Spoilers ahead. This is spoiler warning. That's the secret sauce to the McDonald's Corporation back then. Their franchisees were partners, right? Not just investors. They were partners, right? Because McDonald's is not just a restaurant, and Ray Kroc realized it very soon, that it's not just a restaurant, right? It's not just a system that gives you food fast. It's a brand, and you have to take care of that brand, and you have to to do everything about it to be able to propel that brand into the image that you want it to be. And so, absolutely amazing. He created it. He cracked the code. Eureka moment. Okay, we need partners. We need someone who's husband and wives, who's constantly, who's going to work together as a family with their kids, with their son. They have the inspiration already, right? They will work together, and it's absolutely amazing. So they used to go to communities or colleges or what have you, all around the country, promoting that, looking for husband and wives, partners, and everything that comes along with it. Even though they had created so much franchisees at that time, I want to say 30 plus or 50 plus. I don't know the exact number. That's an arbitrary number, but they had a huge amount of franchisees. The only problem with that is Ray Kroc is still broke. What? Ray Kroc still broke? All of these franchisees still broke. Ray Kroc. What happened? Because the overhead of all the franchise things that he did exceeds everything that he did, the investments. And so he was still broke. He was penniless, and he could not believe it, that he was not making money out of all of these things that he created. He created a team, the proper team, right? Husband and wives, the right chemistry to be able to for McDonald's to work, and yet it doesn't pay off. Luckily, one day, somebody came in to his office, and this guy, a Jewish guy, this Jewish guy came in and then said, actually, this guy's name is, let me see if I can find his name, just so that you know what his name is. Okay, actually I don't. Yeah, I'm just gonna put the name here. So he was a Jewish. He became friends with this Jewish guy. He made him an investor, but at the same time, this guy absolutely revolutionized Ray Kroc. All right, so Ray Kroc is not invisible. Ray Kroc is not Superman. All right, although he can work and work hard, that's not enough. Okay, hard work isn't enough. You have to have the right people around you too. So he made the right decision. He made the right decision into being friends with this guy, and this guy actually told him, and it's absolutely life-changing and a wake-up call for Ray Kroc. He said, I don't think you know what business you are in, Mr. Ray Kroc. And Ray Kroc, what? You're not in the food business. What? McDonald's not in the food business? You're not in the food business. What you are in is the real estate business. Because the whole scheme of how you can get to own a franchise from the McDonald's is, the way that you get to have a franchise is that your land has to be approved by them, right? Your location has to be approved by them, and most of the times they will buy the land first, and then offer a loan, and then buy it, and then sell it again to the investors. And so Ray Kroc, eureka moment, absolutely, le coup de feu, struck of lightning. Everything changed, right? And after he pontificated about this, and he realized that, okay, I'm not in the food business. I am in the real estate business. It absolutely changed his mind. All of a sudden, money came in, right? He's not broke anymore. Absolutely amazing. And what's tragic about this is that their friendship, though it came from humble beginnings and a relatively happy course of a relationship, it didn't turn out well over a discourse of or whatnot, and they never talked again until death. So yeah, a little sad, but still, you have to have the right people, right? And that's what happened to him. Ray Kroc cannot do everything in his own, right? He's not a genius. He's not educated. All he did was the guy who was always grind, who's always going to push himself. But without him, without that guy, the Jewish guy, we're named right here. Without that guy, McDonald's wouldn't have work. And during at that time, Ray Kroc was having all of these money, right, coming in. The cash flow, the inflow of cash is huge. And at this time, his wife still is looking for husband and wives, for the community, for the partner. And that's nice. Ray Kroc knows that that's nice, but Ray Kroc was in it for something more, right? And you would think that it's absolutely enough for Ray Kroc at this time, because he's not in debt anymore. But what happened is he's relatively successful from where he is, from where he started. He's now much successful man, but to him, more. I guess you could, I really don't know Ray Kroc, so I couldn't say that he's greedy or anything like that. But he's someone who always look for the next big picture, and his wife didn't see that. His wife is still trying to recruit husband and wives, partners, but Ray Kroc was in it for something much bigger. The whole nation, right? The whole nation, sea to shining sea, and perhaps right now the whole world. And so they had the fallout. They got divorced, and Ray Kroc actually ended up remarrying an investor's and a franchisee's wife. I don't know how that happened, but that's what happened. So Ray Kroc, in terms of the business side of things, wanted more, and in terms of the wife, the relationship that he wants, he wanted more also. So this is kind of funny. So I guess you could say that Ray Kroc, in order to change your life, change your wife. But on a more serious note, this is what they created, right? He realized that it's not just a business, it's a brand. Take care of it, have the right pieces around you, and hope for the best. Continue grinding, continue learning, continue to be able to be good, and at that time, each and every adversity, you would be able to push through that. So I guess that's the end of part 3, and stick around for part 4.